Hi, my name's Phil Gardner and welcome to Fun with Boxes, where we're going to take a look at a rather lovely game called Catchy. As you can see, it's a tiny box game, and this comes from Bright Eyed Games. And it's a game for 2 players that will take only around 15 minutes to play. So what is this game? Well, Chi is a very capricious cat. I'm not sure what that word means. I shall look it up and put it on the screen for you. Well, I do know what it means, but just in case you don't. So Chi is a very capricious cat and will go towards the person who has the trinket, treat or toy they currently desire. Catchy Cat is a trick-taking game for 2 players who are competing to win the affections of this fickle feline. So you're going to be playing cards to either win or deliberately lose the trick, depending on Chi's mood at the time, which can change in an instant. So let's have a little look first at what we get in the game, and then we'll have a look at how to set it up and how to play it. So let's take a look at what we get in a game of Catchy Cat. Well, first off, we've got 15 number cards, and these are numbered 1 to 5 in 3 different colours. And if you notice, the odd numbered cards, so the 1, 3 and 5 on each of the coloured cards, has a little cat icon in the top left hand corner, and that's a reminder for you to change the mood of Chi the cat, because Chi is either going to be in a red mood or a blue mood. So if Chi is on the red side, then they are excited. And if they're on the blue side, then Chi is feeling guarded. What this means in play is if Chi is excited, they're going to go towards the winner of the trick. However, if they're on their guarded side, their blue side, they're going to move away from the winner of the trick. Now, we also have a joker card here, which is a number 3 joker card. We have the first player card, and we have a score tracking card, and we've got the 2 players cat meeples there. And of course, we have the rules leaflet for the game, which does have a handy quick reference. And this will take you through each of the steps of the game as you play. Okay, so that's our components. Let's take a look at how we set up a game of Catchy Cat. So first thing we will need to do is place the quick reference guide along with the score track in a handy place available to both players. And we'll pop our little cat tokens onto the 0 space then. Next, we would take all the numbered cards and the joker card, and we're going to give these, of course, a good old shuffle. And then what we're going to do with these, we're going to draw 3 cards, and we're going to place them between the players like this. And what we are doing is we are leaving a card gap between each of the cards, and then we're going to take Chi and pop Chi underneath the central card here. Now, depending on Chi's mood, they are going to be moving towards a certain player's area. So if we imagine that the white cat player is on this side and the blue cat player is on this side of the table. So Chi is going to be flipping over and moving back and forth. Now, these 2 areas next to the players, this is called the player's lap. So Chi could be moving towards the white player's lap, and if they end up in the white player's lap, then that's one of the trigger points for the end of the game. But we'll come on to that a little later. So for now, we'll pop Chi red side up underneath the central card, And what we're going to do now is we're going to take the first player card and we're going to shuffle that into our remaining cards. And then what we're going to do is we're going to deal each player 7 cards. So each player is going to take a look at their cards, keeping them hidden from the other player. For example, this is the white player's hand of cards, and this is the blue player's hand of cards. Now we can see that the blue player's got the first player card, so they are going to be the first player of this game. Now what they will need to do is they will need to swap this with one of the face down cards on the table, and making sure of course that they don't show this to their opponent, and add that card to their hand. So both players now will have a hand of 7 cards. So if I just pop these onto the table here so we can see exactly what cards each player has got. So this is the setup, and we are now ready to play. Catchy Cat is played over a series of rounds, up to a maximum of 7 rounds, because each player has 7 cards. And the game is going to end when one player has reached 7 points on the score track. And each round is going to consist of a series of tricks that are played until players either run out of cards or Chi has moved into a player's lap. So a trick is played in the following phases. You play your cards, you then determine the winner, you will check Chi's mood, and then you will move Chi depending on their mood, and then finally we will determine the first player for the next trick. So let's take a look at these in a little more detail. So the blue player is the first player in this example. So they're going to take a card from their hand and play it into the play area. And the other player must play a card of the same suit, if possible, of the same colour, that is. If they do not have a card of the same suit or colour, then they can play any card from their hand. Now we do have the Joker card, and the Joker can be played at any time, even if the player has cards of the suit already played. So that's just something to bear in mind there. So, for example, the blue player could play this red 4, and the white player now has to follow suit if they can. So depending on what they are wanting to do, are they wanting to win it perhaps? So let's have a look. Perhaps they will play the red 5. So now we determine the winner. Now if both cards are of the same suit, or one card is the Joker, then the player who played the highest number is the winner. So in this example, white has played higher than blue, so white is going to be the winner. Now if the cards are different suits, the first player is going to be the winner. And then we need to check on Chi's mood. Now if both cards played are odd, regardless of the colour, the Chi card is going to flip to the other side. So red will flip to blue, or if it's on blue, blue will flip to red. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the odd numbered cards have the little cat icon in the top left-hand corner as a reminder there that we will need to switch Chi's mood if both cards are odd that have been played. Now, in this example, we have one odd card and one even card. So Chi's mood is not going to change. It's going to remain as it is. So now we have to move Chi. Now Chi, because it's on the red side, they are excited and they're going to move to the player that won the trick, and they're going to move by 1 step. So Chi would move to there, and these cards are put to one side there. Now, if on the other hand, Chi was on the blue side, then they are not going to move towards the winner because they are now feeling a little guarded. And so they're going to move to the player that lost the trick. Now, there is one further rule to bear in mind. If the Joker is played, and another 3 played, then Chi is not going to move. But of course, in the previous step where we were checking Chi's mood, because these are 2 odd cards, then at that point, Chi's mood would have changed. And then finally, we're going to determine the first player. Now, the player who Chi moved towards, they're going to become the first player for the next trick. Now, if Chi didn't move during that trick, then the first player does not change. So we're going to keep playing tricks and seeing where Chi moves to. So now white is the first player. So we're going to go through and carry on playing the tricks now until we reach the game round end trigger. And that is if Chi moves into one of the player's laps, or if we played all 7 cards. So perhaps the white player would play the blue 5. Now we have to follow with a blue card we have. So perhaps we would play the blue 4. We would then determine the winner. So white is going to win this trick. We're going to check Chi's mood. And the mood is not going to change because there's an odd and an even card that has been played. And then we're going to move Chi now based on their mood. So they are going to move towards the winner of the trick. Now we determine the first player. Chi has moved to the white player. So the white player is going to be leading the trick again. So perhaps they will play a 3 yellow, and the blue player perhaps will play a 5 yellow. Now we're going to determine the winner. So the blue player is going to win this trick, but then we have to check on Chi's mood. Now, because we've played 2 odd cards, we're going to flip Chi over, and now they're on their blue side. So now Chi is going to move to the player who lost the trick. So Chi is actually going to move over into the lap of the white player. And we're going to end that round then. Now, when an end rounds, we look at scoring. And scoring is going to depend on where Chi has ended up. Now, in this example, if Chi had ended up in the white player's lap, then that player is going to score 3 points and the other player scores nothing. So in this example, the white player would score 3 points. Now, if Chi had ended up, say, on this side, more towards the white player's side, but not into the white player's lap, then that player is going to score 2 points and the other player scores nothing. However, if Chi remains in the middle of the 2 players, then each player is going to gain 1 point. And then we're going to reset up the game and play another round of tricks. And the game is going to continue and will end when at least one of the players has reached 7 or more points. And whoever has the most points at that point will win. And if it's a draw, both players are going to share the victory. And that is how you play Catchy Cat. It's a very straightforward and a very delightful game to play. I really love the fact that Chi's mood switches and changes, or can switch and change. So you have to be thinking very carefully about what mood Chi currently is in, and depending whether you win or lose, if there's going to be 2 odd cards there and Chi flips over, is Chi going to be coming towards you, or are they going to be moving towards the loser of the trick? So it's very interesting indeed. It is a very simple game. You have to follow suit if you can. If you can't, then you can play any other card. If you do follow the suit, it's the player with the card with the highest value card that's going to win that trick. If you didn't follow suit, then it's the first player who played the card, they will win the trick. You can play the Joker card at any time, and the Joker card is going to count as any of the colors. So in this example, blue would win the trick because this would be treated as a 3 red. And don't forget that if a 3 Joker is played with another 3, then chi does not move. However, their mood would change, of course, in the previous step. So when these, after determining the winner, we can see that nobody wins. Chi is not going to move. However, Chi's mood is going to flip because 2 odd cards have been played. And of course, don't forget, you've got the quick rules reference. That will be very handy for you as you play your first few games. And that's it. That's how you play Catchy Cat. Well, there you go, Catchy Cat from Bright Eye Games. What a delightful, wonderful little 2-player game this is. Really quick and easy to get to grips with, and a fun little 2-player trick-taking game that I would highly recommend. If you see this about, why not pick yourself up a copy? I'm so glad that we finally own this game now, after trying to get it at UK Games Expo, but sadly it was sold out. So we had to travel all the way to Germany, in Essen, just to get this game. And it was well worth it. So there we go. Well, I do hope you enjoyed taking a look at this video with me. If you did, please consider hitting the old like button, and please also click the subscribe button if you would be so kind, because that will really help to grow the channel. And in the meantime, as always, thanks so much for watching. Please do take care, and bye for now.